Anyone there? Is anybody there? Oh, there you are. I had to do something silly. Welcome to the channel. So glad that you stopped by. Answer me a question. Is this your first time seeing me on YouTube? I want to know if YouTube is pushing me through the damn algorithm. So tell me, is this your first time seeing me? Did I pop up on your news feed? How did you stumble upon Tazzz N Philly? Would like to know. Thank you. This is a special reaction because it's due to a contest winner. Yes, that's right. On Tazzz N Philly, we have weekly contests, and the winner gets the song and artist that they have requested because we really care about our viewers and we always give back besides on the reactions that we give. So this week's winner is the amazing, the awesome Renat. See, we have fun on this channel. What are you waiting for? So anyway, Renat, congratulations. Thank you for loving this channel and thank you for participating in the contest. Happy that you won. You had chose a song by Asaf Avidan, who has been welcomed into this channel, and this is going to be about maybe the fourth, possibly fifth time I reacted to him. The song that you have requested is My Latest Sin. Haven't watched it yet because we never ever pre-watch anything. Like, why? You provided the links, which I appreciate that. You also provided me like a bonus little short video with Asaf speaking. You did make me aware that this little short I'm about to play, or short video, is not related to the song, but it gives you a little bit more insight, I would imagine, about him. And it's really cool learning about the artist, like away from the microphone, to learn more about themselves and how they interact with other people. So this would be a treat. Haven't seen that either. So let's pretty much get right into that first. Then I'll watch and react to his actual music video. Make sure that you support Asaf. If you love the music, support him. If he has any music to purchase, please buy it. If you can't do that, you can do the gift of free, subscribing to his channel and liking and commenting on the song. I always put the links of the artist's YouTube channel in the descriptions if they have one, or any type of social media site. Okay, so that being said, let me shut the hell up. Let's first get into this short video, and it's called Asaf Avidan, about recent reads and the search for one's soul. Let's get into it. Here we go.
So what is me? What is this thing that I feel I have and you feel you have, an observing external self? What I'm reading lately, I mean, I've been reading kind of the same material for the last 3 years, because when I become obsessed with something, I become obsessed with it. So if you listen to interviews from Anagnosis, you'll probably hear some of the same books. That's not because I'm slow, it's because I reread it. There's one thing that interests me, and then I talk about it in my show. It's the search for one's soul. But the word soul it's a lot. What does it?
Pausing it real quick because it's not a music video. I like how he said that because that's how I am when I focus on something. Like, I'm a visual learner. So like when I watch something visually, I can usually pick it up quickly. But if I'm reading something, I sometimes have to reread it or a few times. And that's, like he said, it's not because I'm slow. I just need to digest it more. And I have to basically kind of create my own imagery of what they're describing. I mean, unless they describe it so well, they made the image for me. But sometimes, you have to guess what metaphors somebody might be using, and if it's not visual, I have to read 2 or 3 times. So I just wanted to mention that. So he made me think about that. Oh, I got something similar to Asaf. Let's get back to it.
Mean? Is it my subconscious, which is me as an unbeliever in the divine? I believe there is an infinite in us. I believe there's a body, but that's not me. If you cut off my arm, me will still exist. There is my thoughts, but that's changing all the time, so that's not me. There is my feelings, but that's changing. I can be sad now, I can be happy in 2 minutes, so that's obviously not me either. So what is me? What is this thing that I feel I have and you feel you have, an observing external self? the idea of self, how does this form? The idea of a conscious self, which I think is maybe what I would call a soul, that interests me. It interests me biologically, evolutionary.
If I could be inside his brain, that was very interesting because I never thought of that before. Like, if you cut my arm off, I'm still me. Um, wow. I never thought about that before. Like, you're still there, you're still existing. So that would be a perfect example to segue into saying, like, okay, the actual me could be one's soul. Because I know that there's some people out there that don't necessarily believe we have a soul. But he's right though. Like, we have our body, but yeah, if you severed an arm or severed a leg, and you're still breathing and talking, you're still you. And it goes beyond the body. Ooh, that's deep. Damn. Okay. Let's get back to that. It has me pondering now.
How did we reach a point where we are maybe the only animals that have it to that degree? Even though I love animals and they all have conscious intelligence, this identity of self and ability to suffer because of it and imagination is something that apparently we have at least higher degree than all animals. So how did it come biologically? Then it's interesting to me psychologically, to myself, who am I because of this? What am I? Then it's interesting to me anthropologically as a species of humans, as societies, how we interact with that self, how we are suppressing it and creating imaginary gods, fathers and mothers in the sky and in the earth to see us, to hold us, to witness us, to care about us in an uncaring universe. And I think that's the main thing that interests me. So I read a lot of Jung. I became obsessed with the Red Book, but now I'm onto the Black Books, which is the entire series of books that have been edited to become the Red Book in the end. I read a lot of Joseph Campbell, which is a comparative religion writer, very famous. So he takes religions or beliefs from anthropological.
Fun fact about Taz though, like I really don't like to read. I like audiobooks. And then I like first and foremost like an actual movie or a TV series because again, I'm visual. There's only two books that I've read multiple times and I understand them in and out and I love and adore them. And they're both not necessarily, well, they're not happy books, but they're part of my life. They're part of me. And that is The Diary of Anne Frank and The Color Purple. Um, so I read the actual books multiple times. I've seen the movie The Color Purple over 100 times, the original one with Whoopi Goldberg and stuff. And I know they had a new one out. I saw that too, which was good. I liked it very much, but I always loved the original. And then The Diary of Anne Frank, they've made that into movie form a few times. My favorite one is when Melissa Gilbert was was Anne Frank. Um, and she happens to be from a show that I love and adore, Little House on the Prairie. So that's just a little insight on Taz. But besides those two books, I don't like to read. So bravo to Asaf for reading all these books. I would have stopped at the red books like page one probably and never reached the black books. Let's get back to this.
Archaeological studies around the world and compares and finds coherent threads between them. What are the archetypes, just like Jung has in psychology, what are the archetypes of story, of narrative that keep on repeating? Maybe it tells us something about our human needs. And that's interesting to me. So that's what I'm obsessed with. I don't know how it comes to then be translated into what I write, because I also read a lot of poetry, because what I do is, at least I aim for poetry, even though I don't consider myself a poet. I'm a songwriter. But I read a lot of Hebrew poets, such as Yehuda Amichai or Natan Alterman. And then how do you take all that huge subject about what is me, which is what is everybody, and how do you create something concise? And how do you make it specific enough that it talks about the subject you want to talk about, but wide enough that it doesn't really talk about me? It talks about whoever needs it to talk about them when they read it or listen to it. And how do you make it metaphorical enough and beautiful enough? So that's what interests me lately. And that's what I'm reading. Does this make any sense? Or is it just in my head make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. It's not just in his head, and I like how he's very caring and thoughtful of others. He doesn't want to come across as just talking about him, and how he feels. He tries to put it in a way where others can relate to it, and he does. He does that because there's millions upon millions upon millions of people on Earth. So there can't be only one person who thinks a certain way or whatever. So the people that resonate with him are thinking like him, and so far the songs I've listened to, he's talked about things that are relatable, and some have actually applied to me. So it's not like he doesn't make sense and you're like, oh, I never felt that way, you know. So yeah, this was really great, hearing and witnessing another part of his mindset. He's very unique. He's like a rare unicorn, and I mean it in the highest regard. Um, but yeah, it's not for everybody. No, some songs are not for everybody, and that's why you have different musicians and different fan bases, and that's totally fine. Like, for instance, I'm not a fan of opera. I can take it in doses, but I don't like it full throttle opera. But that's fine. I have no problem with people who love opera. You do you, you know. I'll never talk bad about them. It's just not my thing. Um, but hey, so that's the thing. So for the ones that love Asaf and could resonate with him and appreciate him, great. There you have it. So, all right, let's get right into the song, and then I'll commentate a little bit later if you stay tuned. Hopefully, you didn't leave, and hear what I have to say about that. So this will be interesting. All right. So, but I do want to actually, I lied. I do want to I went to his website, asafavidan.com, and I wanted to read what a couple people wrote on here. So they wrote, an artist that writes like Leonard Cohen, sings like Robert Plant, and has the charisma of a cabaret performer. And that's from John Pareles from the New York Times. Then we have Billie Holiday, Janis Joplin, and Bob Dylan are all in there, but they add up to a wholly original sound with songs that are beautifully written and fervently performed. And that's quoted by Bob Boylan from NPR. I don't know what that means. Um, and if you see there, it says Asaf Avidan has released 7 studio albums, which received multiple gold and platinum awards in over 15 countries. He has headlined the largest festivals in Europe and sold out his own tours over the past decade. So that right there tells you a lot about him. Like, if you've never heard of him before and you're coming to the channel for the first time and hearing about him, there's the proof. There's a saying we have, at least in the United States, the proof is in the pudding. Basically, like, here's the evidence. So there you go. All right, so let's get into this song. Here we go. Oh,
Merci. Thank you.
Just like distant thunder, my conscience is rolling in the back of my head. But you lay they keep riding on in the darkness. Our guns on the floor near the makeup and clothes that we share. Honey, we both trail our own path, but the grass is run out of hiding way. See, I used to think I rolled with the devil, but I'm left on my own, 'cause even he hasn't shown up these days. Don't cry, my latest sin. I don't bear that righteous beam. Honey, 'cause your word is so no. Are the demons and angels left us here all alone? I'm much like crickets in the sunrise. My guilt is fading in the depth in my chest. And your empire is crumbling all around us, but we're pressed on a wall. We don't care about the fall of the rest. Honey, I pray you find your old path, 'cause mine was lost so long ago. They say old roads were built on old rivers. Maybe that's why I'm lost, 'cause I just can't carry on with the flow. Don't cry, my latest sin. I don't bear that righteous beam. Honey, 'cause your word is so no. Are the demons and angels left us here all alone? Are the demons and angels left us here all alone? Are the demons and angels left us here? All alone.
Oh my goodness. So magical and emotive, and there's something about his voice. Like to me, he is like the prince of introspective lyricism. Like for real, like he really delves deep into himself and talks about his inner struggles or his inner realizations, his inner thoughts, what have you. Um, he's just so introspective, and I love that about him, because what I feel he does is, by doing so, it forces you to then be introspective yourself. Because, like I said earlier, I think I said it earlier, because this is unscripted. Like, he can't be the only one in the world of millions upon millions of people that thinks the way he does. And that's true. So there's a lot of people who think and can relate to things that he says, because we've gone through that ourselves, or we know somebody who's gone through whatever, and we're struggling day to day with things, or we're learning things day to day. So we can relate. So his introspective nature in his music forces us to be introspective as we're listening to it. Um, and that's just a beautiful thing, because whether we need to just remind ourselves of who we are, or whether we're totally clueless and in the dark, and he makes you have like a aha moment where you're like, oh, okay, wow, that is me. Um, or forces you to face things that maybe you wanted to hide. Like maybe there's something that you've been doing or feeling or whatever that you've been pushing it on the back burner, or you're in denial, or whatever it may be. And this makes you realize that, oh, I better think about it and talk about it or whatever. Because here's something I say from time to time, and it's true. No matter where you go, there you are. And that means your inner self, you, whatever makes you, you. And in this case, it's your body, physical body, and it's your soul, as he talks about. While that's both connected, you can get on 3 trains, 2 buses, a submarine, for all of I care. You're still there with yourself. So you sometimes can't avoid demons and things that you're going through and thoughts that you're having, because it follows you. Um, so this one made me think of, this song is thinking about like self-reflection, um, accepting yourself, realizing that sometimes it's just you there. Sometimes you don't have people or things or support systems around you. Sometimes it's just you, the naked truth you, and you have to learn to cope with that and deal with it and accept things. Sometimes you have to accept things. Sometimes you just have to listen. It somehow this made me just think of just now about this movie I saw called The Sixth Sense, about this little boy that saw dead people. And I'm bringing this up because at first, whenever he saw these dead people, he would naturally get scared and run from them and stuff like that. Makes sense. But then it said later on in the movie, spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, now's the time to maybe mute me. But spoiler alert, he then was brought to the realization, instead of running from them, stop and listen to what they have to say. Maybe they're telling you something important. Sometimes you need to face them head on, listen, what do you have to say? And you might get answers that you need to either fix it or to just say, I'm done with it, and tackle it and fight it and then winner, TKO. So that's what I got from this. So it's like realizing your sin, realizing your imperfections, realizing that realization about yourself, knowing that there's turmoil and stuff that you're trying to fight through. But then at the same time, there's like this juxtaposition of wanting to heal and do better and move on with your life. Because the last thing you want is to be stuck in one spot in your life. You want to eventually get to the other side. Might take a little bit longer to get through that brick wall, or smash the brick wall down, or maybe climb over the brick wall, or go around the brick wall if you can. But just don't stop at the brick wall and keep staring at the damn thing. So that's my thought. I'm sticking with it. So real and authentic, people. So this is what I got from this on first listen. But I want to know your perspectives. I want to know what this song does for you. How does it make you think? Let us know also in the comments, is this your first time hearing this song? And what is your thoughts on it, okay? Because you matter. This isn't just Tazzz N Philly show. It's the Tazzz N Philly and viewers show. So tell us what you're thinking, all right? Yeah, and just the emphasis he gave and the tonality and the feeling that I saw and heard watching that. A couple times I got some goosebumps up my back because his voice could just reach those crescendos, and it's really, really good. Many people can sing a song and just harmonize the words, but not everybody can emote the song and really put emphasis in the perfect spots to really hit home and to make you resonate. And that's what Asaf has been doing for me. Please spread him to your other social media sites. Let other people know about him. He deserves recognition. Like wherever he can be reached. Like, if it wasn't for this channel, I might not have never heard him ever, because I didn't hear about him until recently. And now I'm enjoying the journey. This is the part of the show we do our thumbs up pass if we like a song, thumbs down ass if we don't like a song. I think I gave it away. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So thanks again. I want you to take it easy and keep it breezy.